I can't ever claim to have looked at anything illegal on the internet exactly. I did once Google the word scorpions and looked on Google Images and managed to get a picture of a man making love, performing a sexual activity on a giant scorpion. Worryingly, that image wasn't illegal, though I'm suspecting the act might be. Unless, of course, the scorpion in question should claim to enjoy the experience. There was a time, and I can't say exactly whether this was illegal or not, but I do remember once when I was still at university, first year as well, I just happened to hear the most peculiar noises coming from the room next to mine. It was a very peculiar noise. It was a female neighbour. She was making the strangest noises that I've often described as something between what I'd imagine a woman to make if she were giving birth and playing tennis at the same time. Not a likely combination, I grant you. But I was just weighing up in my head which would be the most likely thing for a woman to do in the privacy of her room, and reasoned that it was the former. Unfortunately, it was only when I knocked on her door and said, "Are you all right in there?" that I realised what I'd heard. She was not so much giving birth as doing the thing that women generally do 9 months previously to what she was actually doing. Yes, I lost my innocence every bit as much as she did that night. There was also another occasion, I suppose, which I suppose bordered on assault, when I did take I was still boarding at school at the time, and I happened to ram a lavatory brush in the face of another fellow, but given that he was looking over the cubicle of the lavatory at the time, I suppose it would be self-defence, really, he being the peeping Tom. Right, now, ever since I became a student, I'm just making my dinner at the moment. Just making my dinner at the moment. Ever since I ceased to be a student, I can no longer rely on meal packages. No idea what unearthly personage this is supposed to resemble, but we'll see what it turns out like. It'll be lots of fun. Does that not look appetizing? Right, you'll never believe this. It's so cold in here. The things here actually won't turn anymore. Outrageous. Don't know what I'll do now. Now. You never believe this, I've actually had to resort to put a frying pan under a grill just to make it work. Desperate act call for desperate measure. Now, desperate times rather. Desperate times call for desperate measure. Now, I was actually rather flattered today to be invited to another person's birthday, which is very nice, because considering that the last time I was invited to a birthday, I inadvertently caused a riot. This woman, a young girl, really came over and happened to just remark on my dress sense, being as it is, I suppose, rather archaic, and said that it looked as though it came from Primark, however you say it, which I just thought was very, very poor taste. She was utterly hideously drunk as a pickled newt, didn't know where she was. I just happened to say that she looked as though she was dressed more for the Garden of Eden than for a party, and she passed around rumours that I'd called her a SLAG, which I didn't, of course, and if I wanted to claim on her sexual activity, I would have gone all biblical on her and said, how many seven-headed red beasts have you been riding lately? Not that she'd have understood, but all my theology studying friends would have done. It would have been highly amusing. She actually later started talking about how I was probably just some horrible mummy's boy that was living off my parents, and how she could get plastered every night and sleep wherever she wants, but she's not what I didn't claim she was. It was highly amusing. Apparently she cried later. It was all highly amusing, but my friend that was behind there had to sort of defend me, because her friend that had his hand around her equated the accent that I have with with campness and so on, and started saying how I was sort of some kind of horrible pervert and whatnot. As soon as my friend started sticking up for me, he came to the impression that we must have been living together. So in a single night I turned a birthday into a riot, a respectable working hard woman into a common whore, and this friend of mine apparently into my lover. So very brave of him, this same friend, to invite me to his birthday, really. I went out to see the latest Harry Potter film, actually, with a friend of mine. We had nothing better to do, and also he wanted to see whether it would be suitable for his younger brother, and soon to realise that perhaps it wasn't, as it's quite dark. We were discussing the legend, actually, the I suppose myth of vagina dentata, which is when a woman has teeth in her, down there, yeah. Bad news for the promiscuous man, I suppose. Badder still for a baby coming out. But we were just chatting away about this. I mean, we don't believe in it at all, but we were just talking about the legends and so on. Sorry, Pims. And we were just, as we went up the escalator, I just happened to introduce him to there's another video on YouTube, you see, Vagina Dentata, which it goes to the tune of Hakuna Matata. You can look up at it for Lion King. And I just happened to sing it, and he told me to stop. I said, do you think it's uncivilized to talk about vaginas in public? And he said yes, and I suppose he's right, really. Well, this is going all over the place. I'm just rambling at the moment. I'm just trying to get my tea on, and just and there it is, sort of. I'm trying desperately to turn. You can't see it, but I'm trying desperately to turn the knobs on the stove here, and failing miserably because they won't turn unless it's for the oven or the grill, which I don't need. Quick shout out now to James Button's films or Dark Assassin 4222, whatever you are, and Sid and Boyo and whatever else you're called all over YouTube. Keep make them as utterly gory and surreal as ever, and we'll love you forever. About a quarter of an hour has passed since I just put that frying pan under the grill. Not a lot has happened, as you can see, so we'll just carry on for a bit longer and see how we go. Let's have a quick story then. Acknowledgements to James Finn Garner for this, but I'm just not sure what to do now. So, book of politically correct bedtime stories. Little Red Riding Hood. There once was a young person named Red Riding Hood who lived with her mother on the edge of a large wood. One day her mother asked her to take a basket of fresh fruit and mineral water to her grandmother's house, not because this was woman's work, mind you, but because the deed was generous and helped engender a feeling of community. Furthermore, her grandmother was not sick, but rather was in full physical and mental health, and was fully capable of taking care of herself as a mature adult. I mean, that is where we're going, isn't it? I mean, we're just having to forever... Just, that present, by the way, I didn't mean to throw... Well, I just throw things when I don't need them. It's not being horrible. It's actually a gift by somebody that rather liked me somewhat. I was flattered by it. She managed to get it me while I wasn't looking as well. Anyway. Yeah, that's just the way we're going now, when we have to just bother around with pathetic political correctness. That's where we're going now, when we have to sort of... Even something like Baba Black Sheep sounds racist now. Sort of... stridulous bleat ethnic minority livestock. Have you any hide? Yes, a sexist person, that is always right. 3 fair trade bags full. I mean, it's just nonsense, but I mean, that's the way we're going. And that's what that is all about. I rather like it, even though I threw it. Not the fridge, obviously. It's snowing at the moment. I'll take you out to see it. Here we are. What a beautiful... Oh, can you even see that? I'm not sure whether you can or not. Can you see the top of those bins? Those rubbish bins? It's beautiful. I'm not sure. Can I adjust the light in some way? Is that better? Can you see it better now? Yes. I think it's beautiful, don't you? I just tested the food that I put under the grill when it should be frying in a pan. And the meat isn't cooked through. So, although I am a student, and well, I was a student, and technically speaking, have lived for the past 5 years of my life on a strict diet of caffeine and salmonella, I don't really want to take a chance with this. So, we'll see how it goes. And because I've not been a student for some months now, my stomach may not be up to resistance. So I'm just stalling for time, really. I did some tidying today, and I had to wear. Just hang on a moment. There. I had to put this on because I'm allergic to dust mites. I don't know how I've survived in my room for as long as I have, but I had to wear it. No, it's fetching rather, not remotely spooky. I feel like a Muslim woman. Not very often I say that either. Don't tell anyone I said that, least of all a Muslim. Joking, Muslims, I love you. I love you all. So here is possibly the first ever grilled curry. Does that not look lovely? I know it's quite common in this country to have curry with rice, but I'm not willing to put a saucepan of water and rice under the grill. I know that the Chinese have a sort of grilled fried rice technique, but it's not one that I can even come close to pretending I know. So, well, let's have a taste then, shall we? It's utterly vile.